What's up, everybody? Yeah, we're back. Look at this. The band is back together. Happy Thursday.
Oh, shit. Wrong one.
Ah, you're so funny. You want that one?
Yeah, I wanted that one.
Wow. Yeah, check it out. We're back, everybody. Thank you so much. Hey, huge shout out to Christian for holding it down for 3 weeks. And I can assure you this is not going to be the last time you guys are going to see Christian, because we're definitely going to have him back on. And, hey, this is life, right? And I'm so glad Christian can be part of the show. He usually is commenting and participating through chat, but it was great to have him actually on the show with Victor for the last few weeks, as I've been basically taking care of a lot of professional business type stuff, which I'm sure is going to be coming up again, and as well as vacations, things like that. But it was really great to have him on and really participate. So thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate you. And you definitely bring a lot to the show.
It was a ton of fun to have him on. It's it's cool because, obviously the dynamic is different, and going into it was like, what, because not everyone gets it. It was one of the things we were remarking about today, where it's cool to do the show and it's cool to have different people come in and out. And I don't think that anyone that we've had on the show by no means has been bad or didn't fit in.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
But I think Christian kind of gets what we're about, and it was a very easy transition to get him on. The first day we had some technical issues, but after that we were fine.
If anybody's been a long time listener of this show, you definitely have heard Victor and I go through many iterations of technical challenges and difficulties over the years. So we're definitely accustomed to the technical surprises, let's call them, along the way. Surprise technical thing going on. So this is what happens though. But we deal with it, and we come on and we do our best to give you guys a great show. And obviously we do this because we love doing it. So I want to welcome right now everybody who is watching live. As some of you may or may not know, we do this show live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 6-ish Eastern Standard Time. And we do broadcast this out, so you can catch us live on YouTube. If you're watching in our Galaxy Geeks Facebook group, we broadcast in that. And today we're actually trying out and broadcasting on Twitter. So if you're over on the Twitterverse, you can check us out there as well. And as always, we do release these as an audio version as well. So you can get the audio version of the Galaxy Geeks podcast pretty much everywhere and anywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can also go to galaxygeeks.net as well and listen to current episodes, past episodes, way past episodes, all kinds of stuff. You just updated the site too, right? I mean, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I updated all the fonts on the site, reworked what our posts look like, and added a episode that probably should have gone up last week, but
hey, it's up.
Hopefully 106 will go up between tomorrow and the weekend. I'll be bugging you for a graphic for that. No, you said it to me already.
I did. I said I'm ahead of the game this time.
You're ahead of the game. Yeah. Last week it was me. This week it's you. I took a look. Obviously the original logo that we have here was something that you had somebody come up with, and then I looked into what the font was, and I went out and got the font, and then within that font package they had a variation that was which is called Almighty Avengers or something like that, and it's very like comic booky. So I was like, wow, we can use this for the regular font for like the big highlights, and then use the other one for the other text that stands out. So I think it looks really cool. It really looks.
I do. I like it.
And it's one of those things where people ask me, "What do you like most about doing web design?" I'm like, being creative. Being able to just say, "Hey, you know what? This looks cool," but 2 months down the road, say, "You know what? We can make this better." you know, and
Absolutely.
so it's always a constant process. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's always one inch bet, and you're always updating, you're always tweaking, and and this site. I mean, from where we first launched many moons ago to where it is now, and
yeah.
that's what happens, and you constantly keep updating. So our site is jam packed with content. You
Yep.
can have access to all the audio, all the video, all the videos. Live on YouTube. So if you go over to our YouTube channel, and you can access all that through the website. And also, we would ask that if you are watching, listening, wherever, and you can hit this link in the show notes, you'll also be able to hit it in the comments section, wherever you're watching this. If you can head over to buymeacoffee.com, and that is the wrong one. You want to go to buymeacoffee.com / Galaxy of Geeks. There it is. Support the show. And as Victor and I always say, we're not making any money off this, but we do have some bills we have to pay as far as server costs go, and some of the upkeep, and even this, like we use StreamYard to stream out, and so that costs money. So it all adds up over time. I mean, we love doing this, and we're not in it to make money, but we also do need some money to survive. So anything you could offer would be great. So you can head over to Buy Me a Coffee at Galaxy Geeks, or feel free to head over to our merch store, which you can access through our website. And we've got some t-shirts in there, tanks, some hoodies, all kinds of stuff. It's really hot now, so you may not want the hoodie at the moment, but you can get the tank. It's nice. It's good. It's good for the heat, man. It's been hot lately, so get yourself a nice GOG tank and wear that, sport that all summer long.
There you go.
Yeah. So enough of the shilling. So let's get into this, man.
Yeah. Well, we have to say that thanks to Christian, we've kind of expanded things here, but let's go in chronological order with when these episodes were all released. Bad Batch, Bounty Lost. How long have we been talking about Cad Bane?
Oh my God. I was like so jealous that you and I missed last week's. I wasn't able to be on, and I was listening to it back, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be part of this conversation so bad. You and I have been talking about the return of Cad Bane. It feels like forever, pretty much since Clone Wars ended. We've talked about having a Cad Bane spinoff series and whatever happened with Cad Bane. And then, how many times during Rebels, the course of Rebels, did we say, oh, Cad Bane's going to show up, Cad Bane's going to show up? No Rebels at all. And then maybe in that last season of Clone Wars, we would catch a glimpse of Cad Bane. Nothing there either. And it's like, are we going to see him? Are we going to see a live action version of Mandalorian? I mean, you and I have been talking about, and finally we got what we wanted, the return of Cad Bane. And I am it's so psyched how they brought him in. And then this week was just even more awesome Cad Bane stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So much stuff to unpack. I mean, we've been trying to figure out what's been going on with the bounty hunters. We saw Fennec so far back. And of course, you're thinking it's the Empire, it's this, it's that. And it still could be, because I have my theories about that. And I'm not. I think Christian may have mentioned this, that Camino eventually gets blown up in canon. But all right. Well, let me say this.
In Legends, it was blown up.
Okay. Well, I'm given who Filoni is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll follow that same trajectory, but we'll figure out, within this realm, why. And I think this past week kind of gave us a glimpse into the future. And when I mean the future, I mean Exegol. Because Palpatine was playing everyone. Palpatine was playing every single side during the Clone Wars, just in case, depending on who won. He was positioned on the Republic side, and he was also on the Separatist side because he was the one fueling Grievous and fueling Christopher Lee Dooku.
Oh, Count Dooku. Okay, yeah.
Count Dooku. Yeah. So he was fueling Dooku, and he was fueling the Republic, just in case. He was also, as time went on, we saw him behind Vader, but he was willing to take on Luke if need be. So I think in the end, this could be them building that whole story to what we saw in the end, with Snoke, with the development of Snoke, and with the clone Palpatine in the end of, Rise of Skywalker. Are the Kaminoans in on it? Obviously, the Kaminoans are split because we see that part of the Kaminoans have hired Cad Bane and the other half have hired Fennec.
Yep.
We're also being told about Alpha, who's Boba Fett.
Female Boba Fett, which is so we have Alpha and then Omega. And
there you go.
And it's that was really cool. That was a really cool reveal. And I think you and I, we started, and I know you guys over the last few weeks have been speculating about it. And so we finally got the confirmation of who she is and why she's so important.
Yes.
And there it is. She's her. And so that pretty much makes her and Boba Fett the only two left that have the original DNA, enough organic material to make more clones. And I'm just going to go out on a limb right now because, I mean, listen, we still have a lot of episodes left. So, I mean, so much can happen. So I'm making an early, not a prediction, but just a what if scenario because we have no idea how this is going to play out.
Okay. So no news flash.
No news flash. This is just a,
all right. I had it loaded.
This is an interesting musing. I'm wondering if we're getting this information. Right. And I don't know how this is going to end. So it's either going to end with Omega going into hiding or potentially getting killed off. So we don't know. But I'm wondering if there's going to be a tie-in because this is happening and we're mentioning Boba Fett and all this. And then we have Book of Boba Fett coming out at the end of the year. Is there a tie-in? And does Omega come back, providing she survives? Do we see an adult Omega come back in Book of Boba Fett? And considering they're technically they're same, they're clones. She's a female version of the Jango Fett clone. I mean, she's a clone. She's just a female version. Is there do we see something? And is there like this bad blood between the both of them because they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but yet they can't destroy each other because they they're the same. I don't know. I'm just wondering where they're going to go because I feel like we're getting because she's with the Bad Batch and she's learning, we see she's very self-sufficient. She really, somebody wrote this, I think I read it in an article, and was like, one of the things that they love the most about this Bad Batch is that they didn't make her a damsel in distress and she constantly needs to be saved. Right. This episode, she definitely was way overhead, but still she held her own. She got away quite a few, and then eventually gets away. I mean, it's, and gets saved by those guys, but she, at least got away several times. So, I mean, you can see how crafty she is, and she's still very young.
Right.
So you see that she's good. She can fight. She's smart. And obviously over time, those skills will develop. Does she also I can't see her becoming a bounty hunter, but maybe she does.
What we don't know what extremes they're going to push her to.
I know there's so much left to explore, but I love the mystery that we have now. And this is where my mind goes. Like, they're showing us this character. They're bringing in Boba Fett. We have a live action Boba Fett show coming with Fennec, by the way. So we have another character so it's like, if Omega lives, I think if she lives, we definitely see her in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, the hard thing here, and Christian's talked about this several times from his information, the last two episodes, he says that they're tear jerkers. So does that mean that we see the Bad Batch go one by one, and maybe she goes? Do they have to sacrifice her so that no more clones are made?
Does she sacrifice herself?
Sacrifice herself. That's another thing to consider. Does Boba Fett kill her so that there are no more clones like them made?
Well, maybe. You know, I mean, I feel like there's so many ways they can go with this now, and especially where they're going. And this last episode was really cool because I love that we learned some stuff, right? We learned that we've got inside factions going on with the Kamanians. We've got obviously the Empire doing their thing, but I just love how we had like the two bounty hunters fighting each other who are like essentially pretty evenly matched. I mean, I think Cad Bane is totally underestimating how good Fennec is, like, because you could tell he is. He didn't have much respect for her, but now he's like, because he got beat. And you know, and you just go to see how crafty he is. And I love that they dropped his line, that hooker by crawl, you're coming with me. I freaked out. I was like, yes, that's his line. I'm so glad they used it. Like I loved it. I went nuts when he said that.
Yeah. Overall, great episode. I mean, they haven't put out any episode to make me think, filler.
Can I ask you this question? And I'm not saying I don't think this is I'm not asking this from a negative standpoint. I'm just asking it from an observational standpoint. Do you think that the Bad Batch themselves, you know, it's just called Bad Batch, do you feel like they've been playing a little bit of second fiddle in this series so far?
I think that Hunter and Omega are definitely the lead characters, but I do think that the other characters are kind of filtered in and out depending on the need. There's definitely times where, I mean, you see Echo and Tech and Teak really become like integral part of episodes, but even they're kind of behind Wrecker, where Wrecker plays like a bigger part than the two of them do. But I mean, I definitely think that, you know, definitely Hunter and Omega are the two main characters. But yeah, I see what you're saying, where it's billed as them, but it's, you know, but that's also I think every Lucas thing is kind of built that way if you really look at it, because we go to Clone Wars, and for how long is Ahsoka the main character? We go to Hunter, Eco, Teak, and Rika. We look at Return of the Jedi, you know, the Ewoks, you know, and even when Rebels started, you know, how much was just focused on, I mean, Ezra was probably the main character, but from where Ezra comes from to where it evolves, I think they start out a lot of times with the focus being on one character to really pull kids in. And then they evolve that character so that, you know, in Rebels, we saw that that as big of a deal that Ezra was, that we still saw we saw Kanan and Hera and Sabine all become like major characters as well. We haven't gotten there yet. I think we're still trying. I think because the focus is trying to figure out what Omega actually is, because there's still theories out there that she's Force sensitive.
Well, I don't think we have all the answers yet. I think we've got a piece of the puzzle now, but is there more?
Right. But let me ask you this. If she's Force sensitive and she's a clone of Jango Fett, wouldn't Boba also be Force sensitive?
I would say yes to that.
Never any mention before of that though.
But is it possible that even though she's a clone, they've done some other things to her? Did they enhance her? Was she enhanced somehow? Was she experimented with because Boba's been gone?
Could be, and I mean that leads me back to the whole Exegol theory.
Well, and I agree with your theory, especially after knowing that they have had other. I think we were given a very big clue in this episode of the fact that they had other facilities,
right?
And what's to say that they also weren't hired to create a new facility on Exegol?
Good point.
I mean, and which is why this could be so confusing, or it's something that's going to happen. Like, he forces them to do it. Maybe, maybe the threat of destroying the planet, with the Death Star forces it. So. I think we're gonna wind up with. Some dark endings, or at least the setups for things, because they're trying to fill in the gaps. This show and some of the other shows are trying to fill in the gaps that were created by the episodes 9 through 11, right. Especially 11, because everybody's like, "What the hell?" So I think they're now trying to retcon everything and give establishing foundation to a lot of the things that they brought into that. That. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the next episode, which will be dropping tomorrow. As always, when we do this show, and once again, for anybody new who's watching or listening, when Victor and I do these shows, and as Christian's been doing over the last few weeks, is we always talk about the episodes that were released. So right now, the main shows we've been following have been Bad Batch and Loki. We're also starting to talk about Rick and Morty now. And so this is why we're talking about Bad Batch episode 9, because that was released last Friday. So next Thursday, we'll be talking about Bad Batch episode 10. Today, we'll also then be talking about the latest episode of Loki, which is episode 4, which aired yesterday.
Right.
At the time of us creating this, since it's on Thursdays.
Yeah. And it's funny because you're talking and you bring up some of the stuff that you're saying, and instantly in my head, I hear, and boom goes the dynamite. Just like a mic drop.
Like a mic drop.
Just like, oh, wow. I didn't think of that. But yeah. Well, just imagine. Can someone get Mr. Filoni on the phone? We need to fill in some gaps. JJ and this Johnson guy left some holes that need to be plugged. The dam's gonna break, and we think Filoni can fix it before everything floods. So
this is Filoni. Listen, everybody,
calm down.
I got this.
Situation under control.
Everybody, calm down.
Don't worry.
We can fix this.
Yes.
Just let me fix it. I've got it.
While at the bottom, there's all these, just like typical old school cartoons just screaming off of the top of their lungs in panic and chaos.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Yes. This will be okay. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Everything will be fine. We're fine. We're all fine. How are you?
They don't call it Filoniing it for nothing.
That's right. That is right. So anxious for the next episode, which will be episode 10. We're halfway through the season.
We're more than halfway. 16.
Actually, yes, we're more than halfway through. Yes, correct. And so it's cool. Show's been great. Looking forward to it. Another good episode. So all right, moving along.
Let's see. There we go. Sunday night, Rick and Morty, episode 2.
Morty. And I was behind. I hadn't watched, Rachel and we were behind. So we actually watched episode 1 and 2 back to back yesterday. So we did Loki, and then we watched Rick and Morty. So it was great. I mean, we were like, I think we must have talked about that second episode of Rick and Morty for like an hour afterwards. We're just like, what the hell? Holy crap. What did they drop on us? This is amazing. Like those guys, like they do not disappoint, man.
At what point was there a slow part in episode 2? Was there a slow part?
No, I think maybe there was maybe the opening credits, like
the opening credits
and the commercial breaks.
The first few seconds until the squid show up, and then boom, we're off.
Oh my God, that show is just so good. I swear. And honestly, for anybody listening or watching it, like if you're not watching Rick and Morty, you absolutely have to get on it because it is such a hilarious show, and it just really makes you think and makes you laugh all at the same time. And they just don't care, but they care. Right. Like they just go for it.
They care to make it good enough because I mean,
it's so smart that and that's what makes it so funny.
But at the same time, this is something that Christian and me talked about. They don't need to do 24 episodes. They're releasing 4 episodes at a time. And whether that takes 3 years to go from one half of a season to another, or the end of one season to another, they're just worried about quality. And just think about all the different things that they worked into the episode, from, whether you want to call it Muppets, whether you want to call it, the marionettes that they did, also the wooden Pinocchio figures. There were the squids. There were.
I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. I mean, even at the very end with Jerry as the getting his upcomings for being really selfish and letting everybody. It's just it's just insane. And now, obviously, the whole question of the clones, the duplicates,
yeah,
is like, okay, well, which ones are real? And then we end it in them in space, and they're with Space Beth, and I'm like. And then the alarm goes off on Rick's thing, and it's like, oh, wait a second. Are they all duplicates?
Yeah.
Like who's the real?
Who's real? Who's the decoy family? Yeah.
I guess who's the prime version?
Right. But then again, if you think about it, think of the Citadel. How many Rick and Mortys there are from alternate dimensions?
The Citadel of Ricks. Yeah, and then you still have Evil Morty out there too, by the way.
So even if there weren't all these decoy families, there's still all those multi-dimensional Ricks and Mortys that are out there. And Beths and Summers and
Jerry's and just everything. It's truly amazing.
Did you see the video that was released by the voice actor that does, I believe it's Summers' voice? She covered Slaughter's Mad About You.
I didn't see that.
All right. Let me pull that up. I posted it on Patreon the other day.
Okay.
What's her name? Kari.
Although she does Summer's voice.
I believe, yeah. Unless I'm screwing it up.
I'm going to look it up on IMDb.
I'm already there.
Oh, okay. Look at you. So fast.
No, she does Jessica's voice. I'm screwing that up. Kari Walgreen.
Okay, Spencer Grammer does Summer Smith. Sarah Chalk does Bette Smith. Oh yeah, Kari Walgreen, Jessica, and Rick's computer.
Who's Kelsey Grammer's daughter? Christian.
Spencer Grammer. Oh, it's Kelsey Grammer's daughter. Got it.
But who is? That's
Spencer Grammer. That's Summer.
Oh, okay. Oh, duh. Kelsey Grammer, Spencer. All right. Slow tonight. I am sorry. All right. Mad About You. Let me see. I can share the screen here. Let me find this on YouTube.
All right.
This is on YouTube. Now I forget. Can you hear the sound?
You have to enable it. So when you go to share screen, you'll see a little thing that says share sound. Or you can send me the link and I could do it.
Let me see. Oh no, I got it. Okay, so this is like restream actually. Yeah.
So this is Summer doing. Oh, here we go.
No, Jessica.
Jessica. All right. You just got it.
Don't you know what you're doing to me? Only you drive me wild. You're my ecstasy. Can't you tell by the look in my eyes that I love you?
Like an industrial version.
Do you remember the original?
Yeah, of course.
'Cause I knew it right from the start that I'm loved by you. I go crazy with no.
Is this for real? Is this like a band that she has and she's doing this, or is this just like total like
Okay, so Nikki Springfield, who plays the guitar,
right?
she is and I'll stop it because I mean we've gone over the 30-second mark.
Yeah, I'm sure YouTube's gonna probably yank. They're gonna wind up yanking this video down now.
Monetization gone.
Yeah.
So Nikki Springfield, who's the guitarist, she is the girlfriend of oh damn it, I know this guy and I talk to him all the time. Patrick Kennison, who is the lead singer and guitarist of a band called Heaven Below. She is the guitarist in Heaven Below, but she is also she took over Nita Strauss's spot in the Iron Maidens when Nita joined.
Yeah, went to Alice
Cooper's band.
Yeah.
Patrick Kennison. Okay, now see, if my brother or cousin would be watching this, they would be making fun of me because I'm pointing this shit out with my finger. Anyway, yes. Patrick Kennison is also the guitarist for Lita Ford. So when she does Close Your Eyes Forever, he does the Ozzy.
He does the Ozzy parts. Okay.
But he was the guitarist in Union Underground. If you remember that band, Turn Me On, Mr. Deadman, and for the longest time, they did the theme music for Monday Night Raw.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So he still gets money whenever that song is, or whenever episodes of his are streamed X amount of times. He gets royalties off of that. I've interviewed him several times, and I talk to him, now and then through Facebook and whatnot. He's actually really cool and really accessible. But she's a ridiculous guitarist, and he's always had. I mean, he's a good lead player, but he's always had like sick guitarists in the band to help make his music better. So
that's cool. No, I'll have to check. I'll have to go and watch that whole thing so I can check that out. Well, and of course, for anybody watching and listening, especially those listening, we'll make sure the link is in the show notes so you guys can go check it out.
Yeah. So Carrie's putting out an entire album. I don't know if it's gonna be all covers, if it's gonna be some originals, but it says in the description of the video, and it's funny because the link is Slaughter, but it's slot then her.com. Mad About You is the first single off of the upcoming album. Carrie Walgreen presents Slot Her Volume 1, multi-genre collection of songs by the late 80s, early 90s hair metal band Slaughter. So they're all going to be Slaughter covers.
Oh, all right.
And apparently, from what I've read, Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum have given their approval.
Thank God Dana Strum approves.
Oh, absolutely. Mark Slaughter, who has also done a ton of voice acting over the years, a lot of the Animaniacs and different WB stuff over the years, he's made a living off of doing voice acting.
Yeah. No, he's pretty, he's done a lot. He's absolutely done a lot. And he still goes out and tours too as Slaughter. He's done the Mark Slaughter solo stuff, and he's done some gigs as Slaughter as a band. And so I love Slaughter. I saw him a bunch of times.
They're them along with Skid Row have been, I think, my midlife crisis where I hated them for the longest time. And then in my 40s, all of a sudden, I decided to sit down and listen to them. I listened to them too and Firehouse. I think it was.
Nice.
Firehouse, there's only like one song I got
Firehouse
into.
doesn't hold up, but I tell you, Slaughter still does, and Skid Row, and especially
Yeah.
too that Subhuman Race record, man. No one ever talks about Skid Row's Subhuman Race, and that record is heavy. It is a good record.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
I agree.
But you know what? We've diverged so much from the Rick and Morty talk. But anyway, this episode was fantastic, and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next episode for sure.
Absolutely.
So much to think about here, and like that once again just blowing the doors off. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
The Nexus event.
The Nexus event. Loki episode 4. The Nexus event. Wow, that's all. Wow, what an episode, man. Like, and you know what? Not that I disliked episode 3. I really enjoyed episode 3. Episode 3 had a lot of qualities, but it was definitely like, conversation on a train. Lot of talking. It was like action, and it was nothing but conversation.
But it was also, I think Christian brought this up. It was a lot. It was a very Rick and Morty, though. If you think about it,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, in an apocalyptic situation where it looks like they're not getting out. I think we all thought, well, TVA is going to come.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, they're getting out of this somehow. And of course, we saw that in this episode. Yeah. It started right away. And so I thought that was good. But right away, we're launched with this mystery of this Nexus event of what happens when the two of them actually seem to like touch and connect. This like weird thing started happening. And which is how the TVA found them, and they just kept asking, "Well, what about this event?" And this was just such a cool episode because we saw Lady Sif come back when he was put into this like little time loop prison, which was really funny. And then we did learn, and this is what we've been saying. You and I were talking about this. I've been talking about it with my wife, and you guys have been talking about it too. Is we knew something was up. Not everything was what it was supposed to be. And we knew the judge and all. There was something not right. And we learned what we learned last episode. And then they expanded on this episode was that everybody working at the TVA is a variant.
Yeah.
And that their memories were wiped. And they furthered this week with, I forgot, B15.
B15.
And they further that because she had these memories and then wound up, getting Sylvie and bringing her to the rocks cart and doing all that and then coming back. And then I'm going to tell you one of my favorite scenes in this show of this episode. I loved the Owen Wilson scene, the Morbius and Judge scene together when it's after and she signs a case and he's just sitting there and he's asking her these questions. And I'm like, he is fishing and I love it because it's him doing his like kind of being like Columbo. Why didn't you let me like he was doing his best Columbo and it was so great. It was so great. I really enjoyed that like back and forth. And I gotta tell you, man, I have really enjoyed the acting between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. Like I just feel like we're seeing an acting clinic. Like because both very good actors. I think Owen Wilson does the same character in everything he's in, but that's what he does, and that's his thing. And Tom Hiddleston's such a great actor. He plays off of that so well, and he does this Loki role so good. That's a whole other thing. But the two of them together, they just have such great chemistry. Like I would love to see just Loki and Mobius getting into like getting into adventures together. I don't know, like time copying or something.
That's Jared Leto. We'll talk about vampires in a second.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It was cool just to see the flipping of the switch with B15 where she was just hard up and she didn't believe what anyone said. And then she had to get Sylvie on the side and say, what did you do to me? What did you awoke something in me? And she was like, no, that was there, they're right. So, and the same thing happened to Morbius, where he kind of started putting pieces together. And then when he stole the telepad, is it called? He saw the videos of B20 or C20, and realized that Ravonna had lied to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Christian explained this, and I've seen it in various Easter egg videos along the way that in the comics, Ravonna is Kang's girlfriend. So we're building to that. I mean, is Kang going to be this this series Mephisto? I don't know, but we know that he's appearing in Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's been
3.
cast. It's actually the actor who played in one of my show I raved about last year, Lovecraft Country. He is the lead in that. His name's escaping me, but he is cast as Kang.
Well, a Hunter B-15 was in that as well.
That's right. That is right.
She was
she played the sister.
Ruby.
Yep.
The actor who plays Kang is Jonathan Majors.
That's it, Jonathan Majors. Yeah, awesome. I think he's great. I'm really excited to see him as Kang.
It should be really cool.
Yeah.
But that leads us to he's recently said that he is not coming out and said that he is not appearing. Well,
okay.
We'll see.
We'll see.
There's 2 episodes to see if his theory is correct.
Right. Because if it's not him, it has to be somebody don't believe anything Marvel actors say. Lovecraft Country was the best. Yes, it absolutely was. Yeah, if anybody listening, watching has not seen Lovecraft Country, oh my gosh, you are missing out on some amazing storytelling. You must watch Lovecraft Country. You must. Thank you.
Yes.
That's my PSA for Lovecraft Country. But so back to Loki. So before we go down the road of Kang or not, I mean, we had 2 big things happen in this episode.
Right. But this is why I wanted to bring up Kang, because when they went in front of the TVA against the head honchos there of the Time Variance Authority, there were so many rumors. The middle one is Kang. He looks like Kang. He's gonna and then that's the one that Sylvie beheads, and it's a robot. It's an animatronics. It's. Did J.J. Abrams order this? Are we going to see Maz Kanata somewhere here?
It's a decoy.
It's another decoy, another Rick and Morty.
It might be. Maybe Rick is behind everything.
Holy shit! You imagine he appears and just like burp and says, "What's your problem?" Yeah, I prepared this whole thing.
I actually made this whole thing, this whole TVA. This is me. I made it to power my car.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the battery of the car. They're actually they're not in some quantum realm.
No,
they're a society within another society that's powering Rick's car.
Yeah, they're powering the battery that powers Rick's car.
But yeah, so we got to see that. So it makes you think, okay, who's the wizard behind the curtain?
Right, Wizard of Oz. I mean, this is such classic stuff going on. It's amazing.
Then when Mobius is pruned, it's like, holy shit, because once that happened, I'm like, something else is going on here. I'm like, because they can't kill Owen Wilson off just like that.
Which
is funny because I saw a series that the actor Evan Peters, who plays Fietro, a similar thing where he was killed like 3 episodes before the end of a show, and I was like, okay, I'm hoping that bullet grazed him and that he's recovering, because it doesn't make sense to kill him off this soon if he's going to die. And he's dead.
I have a theory.
Okay.
And you may subscribe to this theory already.
Okay.
But I believe that we were dropped clues that there's actually another variant of Mobius around, possibly Mobius Prime. I don't know, but because twice now they've mentioned the other what he's like not a, but she's got 2 of what he does, like his official title.
Yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, the other one bring you that, and the other one bring you that." And she's like, "Oh, you guys don't, you don't, don't worry about what they're doing." And then also with the rings on the when he kept saying, "Oh, use a kosher," and there's all those rings, those drink rings, and he's like, I don't remember. Yeah, they're from you. And he's like, I really, I don't remember those. So I have a feeling that there is another variant of him, and she purposely has kept them, obviously apart so they don't know about each other.
Right. Interesting, because in the original comics, I believe that everyone who worked at the TVA looked like Mobius.
Yeah, I think so. Christian, if you're watching and listening, can you confirm that? Because I'm sure he probably can. But yes, I do think something like that was the case. And what did he say? All right, here we go. There's shots of Owen Wilson's from the original trailers that haven't been shown yet in the series in Renslayer's office with the Erasure staff looking like he's ready to fight. So I think that that version of him is obviously, that variant is gone, but that's the thing, right? We already know there's many variants of the same characters. So
we saw that at the end.
Right.
Exactly. The end credit.
Exactly.
We saw,
just the most amazing thing ever.
Right. Like an old Loki.
Old Loki. The alligator. The
alligator Loki. The child Loki variant.
Yeah.
And then the other guy.
A Loki that's worthy.
Was
he's holding Mjolnir.
Shit. I didn't even think of that. See, it was funny because my wife said, "Is that a variant of Thor?" And I said to her, well, Thor isn't the only one who's worthy to carry a hammer. I said, because I have Beta Ray Bill. In the next room, I have a Beta Ray Bill from back in the 90s.
Worthy.
Who is worthy to pick up I can never pronounce the hammer correctly. Mjolnir. Mjolnir. There you go.
Mjolnir, yeah.
But he was made his own hammer as a result because he was worthy enough.
Right.
And he's been in and out of the Guardians as well.
Jane Foster,
another one. Yeah. So I didn't even think of that was a worthy Loki variant.
And Captain America.
Captain America is another one. Yep.
He was worthy. But yeah, so that's like a worthy, a version of Loki that was worthy.
So, but here's the other thing where people have talked about, where it seemed like they were at in New York.
Yeah, it looked like
in
New
a
York.
Post-apocalyptic thing where he ended up. Is that, is Deviant World, is that like a whole Deviant World prison?
Well, I mean, you think of is that where everybody goes when they get erased?
Right.
From the timeline is essentially what happens. They're erased from the timeline. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is like some kind of prison that's almost like an escape from New York.
Right.
They're put in this, like, like that.
Is it Battle World?
Maybe. I mean, they do say, he's like, am I dead? He's like, well, not yet. Like, or you will be. I forgot if you got to come with, I forgot what he said with that line, but
yeah, something along the lines of,
but yeah.
If you don't come with me, you will be, or something like that. Or don't come with us, you will be. But yeah.
So yeah, maybe Battle World, Planet Hulk. No.
I don't know. Speaking of which, one of the things I forgot to add for quick hits. Apparently, Mark Ruffalo has re-upped with Marvel for a long, long time.
Planet Hulk.
Interesting, though, that
Professor Hulk. You already got Professor Hulk.
Well, yeah. Well, the rumor is that they're losing Professor Hulk, but whatever. Interesting, though, just to get a little bit off topic here for a second, that Ruffalo has realized, and I don't know if this is the fact that he's seen the trajectory of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans post Marvel, and said, I'm good playing Hulk for a few more years.
You know what? I'll play Hulk forever, and maybe at some point I'll go do some like little indie thing, or I'll do my own project. I'll direct and create my own thing, like, or maybe make some appearances here or there. Like, I've said this many times. I don't want to go too far off a tangent. I understand creatively that you get burnt out on something and you want to do something new. I think anybody who's in like the creative arts and makes money being creative, you have to do these things. You get burnt out doing the same thing. But at the same time, it's like a dream come true, man. Like you want to be an actor and then you get selected to play like a character that's absolutely beloved and you get to do this all the time. And they pay you lots of money to do it.
Yeah, more money than you've ever made before.
Than you'll ever make. And, you know, and money that you can put into your family and take care of your kids and all these things. And it's just like, and you leave a really cool legacy behind and all these things. I mean, listen, this is how I look at it because I'm not in their shoes. So I would think that he could do this and then also have time to pursue other projects when he can. I'm sure it's difficult because I'm sure it probably always got him shooting and always working and all that. But like, I don't know.
It's difficult as he's fanning himself with a wad of hundreds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Howard Stern fan, and I used to listen to Howard Stern say it all the time, like about Tobey Maguire. He would come in, he goes, "Why would you do anything else? I would just be Spider-Man all the time. Like, don't do anything else. Like, you're Spider-Man. Just be Spider-Man forever." And he would laugh. I just want to. He's like, "Screw that. Just be Spider-Man forever. Wear the stupid suit. Wear it until you can't be Spider-Man anymore." Like, And I, as funny as it is, but I kind of agree with that. Like, I do. It's like, why not? Why not? Because we've, Robert Downey Jr. has found something. It works. It's great. Everybody loves it. Chris Evans too. I mean, it's cool. And when people come and go and it's okay, they take a break, they write their character off, but they bring them back. That's comic books. So
multiverse,
man. That's why the multiverse is created in comics, because for that very reason, keep bringing characters back when you can, multiverse. So anyway, this episode of Loki, bringing it back here, was really, really great. I really loved it. Especially after the last few episodes, we spent a lot of time in a TVA and setting things up. And now it's like, this was huge. We still have 2 big episodes left, lots of mysteries. How is this going to tie in? I'm sure we're going to have 2 other post-credit scenes coming up. Yeah. There'll be a lot of good stuff coming up, and who's pulling the strings? Is it Scarlet Witch? Is it Doctor Strange related? Is it Kang? Is it a version of Mobius? Is it, I don't know, is it the Timekeepers and they're somewhere else and these were just decoy Timekeepers? Is it Thanos? Probably not, but like, I don't know, and whoever, it could be at this point. I feel like it could really be anybody. Of course, there's strong candidates, but it'll be fun to find out who.
Absolutely.
So we will see next Wednesday.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready?
Quick hits. Okay. Keeping it in the Marvel world. The Punisher. John B.
John Berthold.
There you go.
John B.
Johnny B. Johnny B is going to be back as the Punisher.
It's a wise choice.
In Moon Knight. And
yeah.
I don't know if this is them searching, because we'll touch upon Namor in a little bit, but they're rumoring that he's going to be Moon Knight's enemy. But
okay,
we kind of saw this with Daredevil already originally, where he was misguided, he was fighting the wrong person, and then he realized, oh, actually, this guy's fighting for the same thing that I am, just not in the same way that I am.
Right, not doing it. Yeah.
So are we repeating that from Moon Knight because it wasn't actually in the quote unquote MCU canon? Are we going to introduce Punisher into this, just kind of having people forget what happened on the Netflix series? I mean, I don't know. Does it make sense?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're probably not going to, it's not going to be, I mean, the way that last, I think they would be wise to almost just kind of just keep this going and kind of not really acknowledge much of that, what happened. I mean, it was some cool stuff, but I mean, really, what does it really matter? I mean, I think you could just make all that go away, and it just was like a Punisher story, and it happened, and had some stuff, but like, we don't need to get into his origins or anything like that. I mean,
No.
we know what he does, and we know why he does it, and it's just, it's just a continuation of that, of what he's doing. And I think if we just pick it up wherever he's at in time, and this is, and then the stuff with Moon Knight, obviously it will be new for people. I think they just dive into it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't waste any time on referencing the facts of the Netflix, because a lot of times, most people haven't even watched those. I mean, not most, but some people haven't. So,
but outside of that, I don't. If the series is going to be, let's say, 6 episodes, I don't want to spend more than an episode on them being adversaries.
Correct. Yeah, I don't want to see that either. I don't want to spend 3 episodes of this, and then, or like 4, and then the last 2 is when they team up, and I don't know. I don't want that. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could deal. I want to, like, can we just get into, like,
right? Which I think they've done with every other series where we were, thinking Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I thought they were going to drag it out, but I'm glad they did it.
But second episode, we were already. They said what they needed to set up. We were on the ground running.
Yeah,
second episode.
And I think with all these too have been that way.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Spider-Man: Far From Home, Lego spoilers, and this isn't the first time that merchandising has ruined it.
This has been with a lot of the big properties. I mean, Star Wars, and they've done this multiple times now with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
and and I get it, because it's the leaks of things, and they're releasing pictures for press and for prototype, and people are just getting their hands on this stuff, and because they have to. I mean, the films are coming out, and they start production on these things like, ages ago. And on top of that, we also had a delay in things because of shutdown. So it's like they have to make these things. So of course they know what's going to happen.
Right.
It just doesn't, and it just there always seems to be a leak. And I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, you have these giant corporations that, like, something's going to leak.
Have I ever told my story about working for Six Flags and having to sign an NDA regarding the Mr. Freeze Spider-Man or Mr. Freeze Batman movie?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because they probably had elements of the plot in the roller coaster.
Well, it was before they were preparing. Okay, so I was hired as a temp in Parsippany to work for a company where they did all the marketing for Six Flags. So they were preparing all of the live action shows for the Six Flags around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And they had already set up all the costumes and different poses that they had to make to present for local, press and stuff like that. So I had to photocopy all the original, like, prototypes and make, I think it was like 21 booklets. And those would be sent off to the various Six Flags. So they would see, okay, well, our Batman has to pose like this. This is what Poison Ivy's costume needs to look like when she's wearing it. This, so on and so forth. So much to your point, it's a similar deal with this. Lego is sending this stuff out.
Right.
It has to go out to Toys R Us and Amazon and so on and so forth. And they need to see, okay, well, these are the official pictures that you will use when promoting this stuff. So I don't know with this stuff if there's any sort of NDAs involved. I mean, I'm sure there has.
I'm sure there is, and I'm sure it's somebody who just has released it, and it's going to be impossible to track.
Right. But so what we're seeing from these sets is there's going to be 2 villains at least. We've heard of it a lot more. So, and these really aren't that big of a deal because we kind of speculate. We've talked about.
Yeah. And I mean, and they've dropped hints already. And
so Mysterio and the Vulture are really not that big of a deal.
Not surprised at all.
Mysterio faked his death.
Yeah.
We figured that one out. But the big ones are, in my opinion, Doctor Strange and Wong.
Mm-hmm.
That's confirming that somehow, we're getting ties into the multiverse, or at least they're all in New York and they have to work with one another.
Right.
And that means even if we don't get multiverse in the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man is probably going to carry over to that Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Spider-Man in Doctor Strange. But I mean, one of the rumors that I have heard is that it won't be Tom Holland, but that it'll be
Tobey Maguire. And we've also heard, Miles Morales. So
yeah.
I mean, listen, obviously these toys are there, so it means that this is happening, and whether they're in the full movie or part of the movie, or I don't know. I mean, we don't know the full plot details. We've also heard some of the other possible Spider-Man classic villains showing up.
Yeah.
We do know Jamie Foxx supposedly is coming back as Electro.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx, we've heard Albert Molina.
Yeah, Albert Molina's Doc Ock, which I hope is true because I loved him.
Yeah, rumors of William Dafoe as Green Goblin as well.
Yeah,
but that hasn't been confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, none of these have been confirmed. A lot of rumors, but listen, Vulture, Mysterio, not shocker. I mean, that's what we expected. I mean, seeing Wong and Doctor Strange definitely confirms the fact of what we've all been talking about. They're somehow involved in the plot of the film. Don't know how, don't know how much, but enough that they've included them in a toy set.
Yeah. So let's see. Christian is saying in the comics, after Spider-Man's identity is revealed, Strange has a huge role in doing a spell to make the world forget it's Peter Parker. So it could be that it's.
So it lines up. That happens in Civil War.
Okay.
Or right before Civil War or something like that.
So I mean that makes sense too. If that's the angle they want to play, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, because he is revealed, so it's very possible that does happen. Yeah, that does track.
So we'll see again. Be very exciting. We're a few months out here. We're in July. So we are month number 7. This comes out in December.
Yep.
So we've got 4 months to go.
We do. We absolutely do. 4 more months and we'll get more answers. I did hear, by the way, that and I don't want to go too far off because we still have a few more quick hits, I don't know what, but all I heard is that the reviews coming in from Black Widow is that the end credit scene is very interesting.
This is something that I wanted to bring up with you, and I'm glad that you brought this up because I threw this out there in one of the weeks that you weren't here. What if with everything that's going on with Loki and what we're going to see, Black Widow isn't dead?
Well, it's once again comic books, man, and multiverse.
Holy shit. I just thought of something.
Okay.
What if where Loki went is where Black Widow,
the Soul Stone,
where all the stuff connected to Vormir and the Soul Stone, where those people go?
Well, it's funny because one of the apocalypses happens, I think, is on Vormir,
right? So
I don't know. I think we're gonna get some stuff, and also know, I mean, we know the time stones are like trinkets, so they're best points.
I mentioned this to Christian. What if Black Widow isn't a prequel? It's actually, and the reason that they've been adamant about holding this until after Loki is that that's the tie-in, that she appears somewhere,
Yeah.
In this, and it's, hey, she's not dead. She just went somewhere else similar to this.
Yeah, and I agree with what Christian's saying here. I read a few reviews where they said it's a good send-off for Scarlet and really feels like a Yelena movie, setting her up as a new Widow going forward. I've read that too. I've watched a few non-spoiler videos on YouTube as well, saying that this is very much a Yelena film, even though she's in it. But they said they felt like this was more Yelena as the forefront of the film.
Okay.
So, but it still doesn't mean that your theory is wrong.
Could be a swerve still.
Could be a swerve, and anything's possible in comic books, man. There's only two things that are ever certain in comic books. Uncle Ben's always dead. Always dead. Thomas and Martha Wayne are always dead.
And Uncle Ben always dies.
Yeah, and Uncle Ben always dies.
Another kind of thing tied on to Spider-Man was announced today that James Franco settled his sexual misconduct lawsuit. Does this open him to coming back to Marvel, working as Harry Osborn, or is he done in films for good?
I don't think he's done in films for good. I mean, geez, look how many people are supposed to have been done in films for good and have come back. I'm looking at you, Mel Gibson. Not that he's to the level he was at, but and listen, the sexual misconduct is. But I mean, I'm not going to trivialize anything. Obviously, whatever has been done in that case has been settled, or I don't know. I don't know all the details. I'm not part of it. It just seems like that it seems to be settled. Whatever that means. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to jail, so I don't know. I think that this is gonna be, I guess, whatever the details are, and whether or not Marvel wants to be involved with somebody that has something hanging over them.
Right.
Yeah, and I saw that Seth Rogen has come out and said he will no longer work with them either way. So, I mean, he may go on the apology tour. He may just disappear for a while, and I'll tell you this: I can't see him coming back anytime soon. I think it's going to be one of these. He's going to have to do time as far as go away. He's going to do the big apology tour and get some endorsement from somebody who will have him on a few shows. He'll write a book. I don't know. He'll start doing that, and people will begin to feel sympathetic for him, and then he'll do something. I think he's just going to lay low. I can't see it happening anytime soon.
Right. I mean, I could see it being.
And this is a big difference between James Gunn situation. Huge difference. It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely see this be more of like he comes back like as a Matthew Modine or a Paul Reiser in Stranger Things, where it's a very small bit part in something in like 5 years, as opposed to just like hitting the ground running again, because he's.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say either way what happened, what went down. It's just, I mean, the case, just because the case is settled doesn't mean he did or didn't. But, I think it's going to be a while. Will he ever work again? I'm sure he will. I mean, I feel like everybody comes back at some point, but I don't think it's anytime soon. That's just my assessment. So, agreed.
Next point here, Black Panther. Where I just realized that I sent it before as Black Panther and not Panther. So sorry. Anyway, so we've been hearing that Namor has been cast for the last few weeks now. And
Mr.
now,
Nimbus.
Yes, Mr. Nimbus. There you go. Come on. That was a mix. I said
was so good.
It was a mix between Namor and Freddie Mercury.
Yes. I also thought Prince too.
Prince, yeah.
I thought a little Prince.
Absolutely. But anyway, so the big bad not being Nimbus, however, the big bad being
Namor.
Atuma.
Yeah, Atuma.
Who is not to be confused with Atuma Matata. But anyway, and it's not Atuma. Yes. Anyway, Atuma is apparently one of Namor's arch rivals from the comics. He's someone that he's gone to battle with over and over again. So apparently what I had read is that it doesn't make sense to introduce Namor initially as being bad. However, maybe having him flip sides when he, takes umbrage with the land dwellers or whatever, So it's kind of like Baron Modor from Doctor Strange, who initially starts out, as being on Strange's side and then switches sides towards the end of the movie. So that is the current going rumor. Obviously, this movie does not come out until I believe next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's next year. And I mean, it would be real. I would be excited to see Namor because I think it's due time, and plus, then we would have an official mutant in the MCU.
He's not a mutant though,
That's true.
because and I believe Christian explained this. His father was a god and his mother was a human, so it's more like
I guess it's more
Hercules.
demigod type of thing.
Yeah, he's
So.
not exactly a human or
All right.
A mutant. So
I would still be excited to have Namor in here, which would mean also too that they also made that deal with Sony to borrow that character as well.
right.
Which is another reason why we haven't had a Namor because of all that stuff. So
Right.
I think it'd be cool. It would make sense considering too like Namor's history with the Wakandans.
Right.
It'd be I think it'd be cool. I'm down. I hope it's true. Atuma, I mean, very possible, could be in there as well. I mean, why not have, two? And yeah, you could have a flip of the switch type thing.
Right.
Join forces, fight. I guess so. I mean, we've seen it before in Marvel films. So
Yeah.
I'd be down, man. I hope it happens. I think it'd be cool. And I'm still fighting for, I still think it'd be awesome to have Suri as Black Panther.
Yeah. Actually, Christian is saying, I actually thought he was a mutant. Wasn't he the first mutant to ever appear in Marvel Comics?
Yes.
So I had thought that as well. And then when researching the quick hits, it was said that was changed like sometime in the 80s or 90s, I believe, to point out that like his father was Poseidon or something like that, and that his mother was.
I will just say, so here's what I've got. I pulled it up on Marvel on a Marvel wiki here, X-Men wiki.
Okay.
It's saying here. Give me 1 second. This is an entire thing on him. About his powers, where he comes from, abilities. Okay, notes. Namor has been repeatedly identified as Marvel's first mutant. However, his status as the first mutant is subject to some question. He was the first mutant to be introduced in Marvel Comics in 1939 and has been described in comic as the first official mutant, but there are actually a number of mutants that predate him in a Marvel timeline, including Apocalypse, born in the 30th century, Wolverine, late 19th century, Mystique and Destiny, dates of birth unknown, but have been active at the dawn of the 20th century, and a group of mutants known as the Externals. Furthermore, Namor is not actually a human, but rather a human merman hybrid. That is courtesy of X-Men fandom wiki, X-Men wiki.
So there you go. So I am incorrect. He is a mutant, but however, it was not the first mutant.
Right. It seems like that was originally created, and then as they create other characters, so he's been predated.
Gotcha.
So that's what we got there. So that being said, the last quick hit.
Several rumors about the big bad in the Batman. Rumors are Penguin, Catwoman, the Riddler, Mr. Freeze, and now they're rumoring that the Joker will appear. They are not confirming who the official big bad is, as several of these characters may just show up for like a drive-by type thing where they're mentioned or they're shown on screen, but that they're not like the main attraction.
Well, we know the Riddler's officially in this film.
So the Riddler's the official big bad, but he's
in it. Right. There may be others. Well, because he's in the trailer, he's been cast, he's in it. Like we've even seen him on screen in this new like garb that they created for him. But yeah, I mean the other ones I've heard the same thing that we may see. I think having Selena Kyle makes complete sense.
Mhm.
Always been part of Batman for the longest time. One of Batman's, adversaries, lovers, just, total cat and mouse, cat and bat thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be neat to introduce Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Joker, once again, you could have encounters. You could have it pre Mr. Freeze before he officially becomes Mr. Freeze.
Right.
Because it depends where in the timeline this is happening. This is supposed to be, I don't know if this is, I originally ages ago in some of the development notes, and I don't know if this is still true, so I don't know, but originally they were pulling a lot from year 2, which is a great comic, Batman Year 2. Year 1 is a classic. I was heard they were pulling a lot of elements from year 2 and incorporating this into the film, but we'll see, if that happens. Christian saying Penguin as well was in a trailer played by Colin Farrell, and Catman 2 is by Zoe Kravitz. Yes, so that's okay. I missed the Penguin in the last trailer. I guess I am down a trailer. Zoe Kravitz, I did hear, was cast. I just didn't know if it was 100%. So apparently in this other trailer that's out, which I haven't seen, I guess we see glimpses of them.
Okay.
But I'm down, man. I mean, listen, I still love the fact that I've heard that this is going to focus a lot on Batman's detective skills, and that is something we haven't seen a lot of in any of the other films, like his true detective skills. So I got to. I'm psyched. Christian saying you got to look up the Penguin makeup. He looks amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this trailer. I'm obviously a little behind. Well, Christian's in the know, man. He's on top of it.
Absolutely.
We'll have to definitely get him on the show more often than just in comments here.
Yes, we have to do a 3-way dance at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I am excited for this Batman movie. I know, so far people have been giving it a lot of slag because of the costume and Robert Pattinson. I'm not reserving any judgment. I think the Bat costume actually looks pretty cool, if you ask me. I just, we got to see, right? I got to see. And the real test for me is how do you play the Bat and how do you play Bruce Wayne? Because they're two different. And I've always thought right now, and I know this is not a popular opinion, but I've always thought Michael Keaton's Batman is the best version of Batman on screen. And I feel Christian Bale's version of Bruce Wayne has been the best version of Bruce Wayne on screen.
Okay.
That's my opinion. People may not like that opinion, but that's where I'm going with it. And that's why I'm excited too about seeing Michael Keaton in the new Flashpoint movie. Flash.
Yeah, there's been so much talked up about that in his costume. But yeah, I just brought up an image of Zoe Kravitz and Colin Farrell.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that trailer and take a look because I'm definitely behind that.
Colin Farrell looks nothing like himself.
Which is cool because the Penguin is grotesque.
So cool. That is it for Quick Hits.
That's it. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna wrap up the show. We want to thank everybody for joining us today on the live feed here, watching with us live. Of course, anybody who's watching the replay, thank you so much for hanging in there with us and watching the replay. And of course, want to thank everybody who listens to the audio version of this. And please hit that subscribe button. Actually, as we like to say, punch that subscribe button. Punch it hard wherever you are watching, listening to this, especially if you're on... There it is. Especially if you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. And wherever you're listening, please hit that subscribe button so that way you stay notified every single time we drop a new episode of the show. And of course, you can always find past and present episodes, not the future yet. We're not that good. Over at galaxygeeks.net. You can check everything out there. There's links to every single channel that we're on, all the different platforms. Plus, if you don't want to subscribe to any platform, you could listen to the podcast right there as well, or have access to all the videos that we do. Because For every audio version that you hear, there is a video companion of it that you can watch. And we do ask if you can please, while you're at the website, or, when you're clicking through the show notes here, we do have a link that leads you directly to our little Buy Me a Coffee link, which is great. It's just a great way to show your support for the show. It helps pay some of the bills around here. So that is buymeacoffee.com/Galaxy Geeks. And you can click that link and it'll take you there. And feel free to buy us a coffee or a slice of pizza or a beer, or I don't know, whatever they have on there. But just so you know, it could go to a cup of coffee, but it could also pay for some of the bills that we have around here that sort of accumulate. Or you can buy a shirt in a merch store. That's also cool too, because that helps us out a lot as well. We've got some cool Galaxy of Geeks merch in the store. We're going to be adding more too as we go on. I think we're gonna add a Galaxy Geeks beach towel in there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm gonna design that. We're gonna put that up too. So there's going to be some more stuff coming in that merch store very soon.
Awesome.
Yeah. So with that, sir, I'm going to throw it back over to you.
Yeah, just echoing what Chris said. Just thanking everyone for listening and watching. And we will see you next time right here on the Galaxy of Geeks live stream and podcast.